we are going to be starting things out with a really exciting Vanguard versus Infernal match. Now, the way things are going to be working here is it is going to be best of 3 for this one. Both players are going to be battling out, and we've got some pretty high-level players because in order to compete in the finals here, you have had to have won a previous one or placed very highly multiple times. Like if you've got second place a couple of times, or made top 4 multiple times, you have a chance to be able to enter into this tournament. It's like an invite, essentially. You were able to qualify points-wise. And so we did a total of 8. If you guys know, I casted the 8th one because it was under the NDA stuff. You could not watch any of the stuff before then, at least Twitch-wise. If you were on Discord and a part of the stuff, then you're good to go. You could be able to sit there and watch it on Discord. But now, because the NDA was lifted until March 11th, we get to bring you guys such awesome action here in the Vanguard match. Now, as you might imagine, there are very few Vanguard players. There's only, 4 that were able to qualify, so we're watching one of them, Mixu. And if you guys were watching any of the previous tournaments that have gone around, like the EGC events, Mixu's name might seem very familiar for that because he was doing very well in the qualifiers. Highdra is his opponent here, an Infernal players who did qualify for the EGC event and ended up fighting the person that, did very well at the event as well. Like, he made it to the round of 16, which, money position at least for that. So, very exciting stuff for both these players. So it's going to be really cool to see how these players actually do in this event. Now, there are 4 maps available. We've seen a couple of them. Players are going to be rotating and picking through the ones that they want. Jagged Maw, Broken Crown, Hinterlands, Secluded Grove, Titan's Causeway. We'd never see Titan's Causeway, but it does exist. So both players are getting in the lobby here, getting ready to go, and we're going to be jumping in and starting the first map. Most players start off on Broken Crown, and that is what we're going to be seeing today. So let's kind of jump over and see the action here. All right, good lucks. Have fun's coming out for the players here. So we are starting things off on our Broken Crown. It is a very, very standard map that we're used to seeing from both players here. So let's kind of go over some features of the map as our first little scout kind of makes his way across the stage. Because since this is kind of the normal opening, all Vanguard players do get a little scout dog that they get to go and start initial harassments for. And we see kind of the conclave opening coming out here, which again is normal. You want to start getting those gaunts out as soon as possible, start creeping, things like that. Now, it is a very elongated map, right? It goes off to the corners. There are vision camps over here on both sides. Those are important for kind of tracking what your opponent is up to. In this area, it does kind of give a pretty wide area for that. But the speed camps, which have been nerfed since previous tournaments, like the previous Alpha Navigators Cups, used to have a lot more animals here at our neutral camp. Now that has since changed, and they have adjusted it and reduced the amount because of the gaunt pushes that do come out, make it really difficult. And yeah, you see this nice little harassment, trying to delay the expansion as much as possible. You see that green little smoke coming off of there? That is kind of indicating that the gaunt was infesting this unit. And if he dies while infested, that's where all those imps start popping out here, and he can be able to start fiending his opponent off and start attacking him with this. But yeah, hit that flower. Those flowers that are located on the map here, of course, do end up healing. But this is a really normal positioning that you'll see players do. So there's kind of 2 ways to go about this kind of opening on this map as a Infernal player. You can go for this kind of safe and secure positioning here that has a little gap for you to protect your gaunts, or you can go for like the full wall off at the initial spot here. And here we go. Pushing out the scout does get that nice little vision pop there, and you see him kind of running over here because he knows there's a flower over here. Like, there are kind of known locations for that, for him to be able to sit there, pop that, and heal up. And he knows that the creeping's going to happen, so heals it up, starts going after that low health gaunt, and actually he might actually get to snipe it. So this is going to be very interesting to see how well the micro comes out from both of these players here. And eventually we'll get back to kind of talking more details about the map, but this aggro chicken here is going to be annoying These trees here that exist, there are a couple of little flowers that are also here that do add a slow ability, but the trees block bigger units, but smaller units like gaunts, like scout dogs, are able to slip in. Now here is the dangerous part. You're scouting up here. You've got to be careful. The dog's going to come in, and look at this, immediately right-clicking, and will try to get it, but no. Great micro there, will be running his way in here, but does end up sniping, gets the second one, will he? Does end up getting the second one too, and now we've got our Lancers coming out here, and that creeping is put to a halt real quickly here. So here's the other thing. Trees are destructible on this map. You can be able to destroy them, break them apart, use your workers, and you will be able to sit there and take care of that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Lag spikes coming out. That was weird. I wonder if the players felt that. But yeah. Oh my gosh, what is going on with these lag spikes here? All right, let's get back into it, guys. So, destructible trees here, you can use your workers to break down that, or certain units will allow you to break that down. We see the vision camp and just how much of a surface area that does allow access to. There are neutral camps that are resource camps that gives a little bit of resource. You can see the imp up there killing off and clearing that pathway to kind of get up for a third base. And there's a push coming up here trying to deny this a little bit. And look at this timing. Just right as it's thrown down, the Lancers are going to jump right on it here. And he's going to force a cancel off of this probably. It's, you know, if he goes full on aggro. Oh, Shroudstone immediately gets killed off. Not canceled there. How many forces does he have? Not that many, actually. So we're going to see he's just going to let this get tanked up for a while. It has a lot of hit points. You can see it kind of hovering here. And, yep, there he goes. Waits for the last seconds. Does refund it. Doesn't get full amount. But this is all kind of the, I'm going to distract you because I'm going for a little micro shenanigans. The kind of the normal stuff we see with Doombringers coming out. And this is kind of, I'll draw your attention. And this is really interesting. Kind of utilizing a lot of fiends in this push because, you know, they're very fast. Normally you're going to be seeing a heavier gaunt push, but he kind of rushed up to this to kind of be able to get up into a third base and forcing his units off. And will he get a snipe off? And he does. Look at this. Every time one of these units dies, they will be turning into another one of those fiends here as long as that exists. And boom, we will hit that recall and recall that back to base so he doesn't have to worry. That is a nice little feature there of the Doombringer ability to kind of recall back to base. A lot of the air units in here have abilities like recall or kind of retreat, but here's kind of the aggro push. You see just kind of the swarm of blue from Mixu coming across the map here. He says, we're not going to let this happen. And look, a third base trying to get taken on the left, which the Lancers are immediately going to find and start jumping on, forcing a lot of Shroud Stones to come up. This is kind of going, okay, a lot of my forces are inside of this Doombringer, so I am not really ready to defend against this right now. So it's going to be kind of this nice little micro race from both players, seeing how well they can deal with this. And just running up the ramp here, kills one of the Shroud Stones here, and he's going to immediately pounce on the second one. Again, these Lancers are very hardy units. They take a lot of hits to actually be able to kill, and he's going to jump right on that mineral line here, and it's going to be kind of a nice little micro battle between both players trying to see what sort of damage that they can get done here. And the Lancers actually targeting down the dropship and will be starting to get cleaned up over here, but serious economic damage is taking place over on Hydra's side now as the Lancers are making their way up here, cleaning up all the brutes that have come out here. Gaunts are trying their best to be able to save things. Imps actually were trying to body block for a little bit here, but this is going to take a lot more than just a few brutes to clean up here. And so he's going to kind of reposition, rotate his way around here, and get himself in a better position here. But in the meantime, the drop play is still strong, still going strong here, trying to make something happen over here, but there is plenty of Lancers to kind of put a stop to this. Doombringer still flying around here. All the Lancers coming back, so looks like that is the extent of the damage that Highdra is going to be able to do. Mixu kind of took some losses there, but he is in a better position having his third base up compared to Highdra, who still doesn't have his third base. You see him trying. He does. He was able to get another third base. Actually did this cheeky double expand shenanigans there, so that was really cool to be able to see him kind of go for that route. And at this point in time, it's like, okay, let's get back out on the map. Let's do some more creeping. Let's get some watchtowers. Let's get some extra resources, because there is a action bar that we cannot see in this observer mode here, but there's an action bar for each player that shows you different spells and abilities that they are able to cast that they can be able to utilize by sitting here and creeping and getting up that XP. But we're going to see a lot more Shroud Stones get thrown up here to kind of defend. And is he going to go just like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, he might catch the imps if he's not careful. Oh, seeing an imp there, that is bad. That just means that this base might be forfeit. Oh, so going over here for this health camp. Once he kills off this deer, it's going to put a little green circle around and immediately start healing up the units. But, oh, he's going to catch him. Actually ends up targeting down those Lancers that are low health, and this is huge. There's the health thing, but now all these units are trapped. He's trying to micro his way out of the corner, but trapped in there, not going to happen. Will throw down his Doombringer. You see kind of this Shroud coming down, adding that extra white health bar to all these Infernal units. And will be, oh, the health is making a big difference in that. These Lancers stayed alive a lot longer. Another thing to note here is that these units, the more that they kill, the stronger they get. Right, so starting out here, we've got, oh, Exos now getting added into here, and now this is where things are going to get really dangerous for our Infernal player. Exos have high DPS here. They've got great speed, look, starting out at a base of 19 power with their attacks. Lancers, of course, starting out at initiates are only 10, but we saw, of course, our veterans here is jumped up to 11 power on that. So the more they kill, the longer they stay alive, the more damage that they do. Pretty cool feature unique to Stormgate. Oh, we just saw this Shroud Stone immediately appear out of nowhere. That is that special ability we were talking about, that action bar at the top of the players allowing to do that. Now, Will just kind of power his way through here. You see those Exos just immediately start DPSing those down. The Lancers are kind of that meat shield, the wall in the front, and showing that without higher tier units, this small force is not going to be enough here. So we're going to see, is he able to take up? Oh, we do. Okay, so Shadowclef is out, so that means we are going to start being able to see things like Magmadons to be able to kind of really push in and help him in this situation here. But will he have enough? He is skirting that Doomweaver over on the right-hand side. It looks like he's going to be going for like a nice double drop play, so we're going to try to see how well this works out, pushing his way forward here. Here's the first drop coming in here, going to start dealing damage, and oh, that little blue shield here, that's one of those action bar things that our Vanguard players gets to do. It puts a shield on it to help protect it. We do see the overcharge keeping those units alive. In the meantime, oh, a couple more of these Gaunts pushing their way forward here. Another Shroud Stone, and oh, meat farms here. Nice little kind of defensive measure. Need to kind of build up and get more supply so you can start getting into the Magmadons. And now we see additional drops. Oh, nice little adding in our Sentinel in here, getting a little bit of extra support for his units. Oh no, this Doomweaver is going to die. There's the Exos. Oh, he got the recall off. Oh, he did it. I thought he did. Oh, look at that. That's nothing but bones. Oh, there's an imp over here. I thought this was, wow. That's cheeky. I like that. All right, so we've got a 4 base, almost 5 base here for Mixu, our Vanguard player, really powering up here. He's going to start moving out, creeping out, and pushing his way forward here again. He is in non-stop aggro mode, and that is so many Shroud Stones. This is going to be really, really difficult to kind of push through, especially as the Magmadons are going to work their way forward. You see slamming, dancing their way forward here, trying to get close to these units, because if they can start hitting those slams, they will be able to start stunning them and slowing them down here. And oh, will back up. Nice single targeting there, taking those out. That is going to be one of those key units that you need to be able to focus, really relying on those Shroud Stones to help out as a lot of these Gaunts pushing their way forward. And look, more fiends popping up because units are dying that are infested here. You'll see them just slowly start popping. Oh, very nice. Okay, so we start to see these shotgun blasts come out as the Hellborns are going to start slamming down from the high ground here, but still able to kind of push up, and look at him single targeting down the Gaunts. Those are going to be the main area of contention here. Is like, I need to be careful about these Gaunts. They're going to be a problem. So repositioning himself here. I mean, he's now going to be into this big power-up mode. We're going to see a lot more barracks get added in here because with this 5 base economy, he can kind of afford to kind of go into this heavier bio play, right? We call it bio play similar to StarCraft 2 because of the Exos, the Lancers in here, you know. But oh, check this out. Oh my gosh, he was trying to take a 6, and it's like, wait a minute, why is there a base here? and immediately you see units start streaming their way around. So this is, I love this. You know, tried to take a nice little ninja base, hidden base over in the corner. Doesn't work so well, but the health camp is destroyed. Now, one thing to note is the way that this works, you can see on the mini map, like, oh, there's still the vision camp there. If it disappears, like this health camp would, all right, this heart on the mini map, that lets the player know that, oh, this is now available. And, oh, moving his way forward here. Is he going to be able to jump on the Hellborns? Trying to, but not quite getting there. So you see that little shotgun blast coming out, splashing some damage behind it. Definitely going to be a hard thing to push up into now. Now we're going to be waiting and see what is the next tier of units that Mixu is going to attempt to go for here. Yeah, there he goes. Cleans this up. Our nice little flat cannon coming out. When you throw an Exo inside of your little watchtower here, he is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. Yeah, 19 damage off that. Quite a bit. So where is our higher tier stuff? Where are we going to go? Are we just all bio all the time? Yeah, it looks like that's perfectly fine. He's got such a strong economy, and he's going to do this kind of nice little split, right? He's going to come in here, distract his opponent, go for this little push up here. You know, pay attention to me. I know where your army is. You're over here. And then he's massing up this huge force that's going to come in here. Now, that is so many Shroud Stones at this base. It's going to be very hard to deal with. Now, he's going to be trying to push it in his way forward. He's got some healing added in here to help him out. Going to move his way with the Exos and start cleaning up a lot of the Shroud Stones. But there's so many to get through. This is a great delay tactic, allowing for our Infernal player to kind of transition his way over here and really kind of start to try to defend this. But all the Shroud Stones are now following. We see kind of just that mass rally of units coming across the screen of blue. And, oh, the Imps tried to retreat, and they're getting picked apart here. All the Hellborns in the back trying to kind of pick apart. You see them kind of right-clicking, targeting down those weakened units here. And this base is falling. Now we're sitting at a barely 3-base mining Infernal player. And, yeah, GG is called. He realizes that there's not much he can do fighting against a player that is sitting on 6 bases. So great first game in here, and we see Mixu go up to 1-0 right now. All right. Oh, the doggy's coming out. All right, so spawning up here in the north, it is our red player known as Mixu, currently up 1-0 in this series. And his opponent, spawning down in the south, our blue Infernal player, currently down 0-1. It is Highdra. Now, Doggy's going to come over, do some harassment. We're still back in that normal opening. So let's talk a little bit about this map compared to the last one here. There are watchtowers, vision camps available on both players' sides. It does give quite a bit of vision, kind of, you know, nice little positioning here. This is a very easy way to take 2 bases. It has a very wide area here, but it's easy enough to secure your natural. The third base is kind of that contention point. You have this little pocket base over here by your main base, but you also have this base over here. There are resources camps, speed camps. Again, they were nerfed, so there are less that you have to worry about, but they are located on the left, right, and top center positions of the map. We've also got this big central location, double mines, double access to our secondary resource as well. So very cool, very exciting stuff. As the players kind of set up and get ready for kind of these next stages of here, all right? Both players are really kind of getting themselves in position, and you see just double checking, making sure the scout's going through and making sure everything is safe and secure. Our Gaunt is going to start coming out here and do a little bit of scouting, a little bit of poking, making sure the dog is not around. In the meantime, he's kind of trying to rally his way forward because our goal is to get over and start creeping, right? We want to get fiends as fast as possible here. And there we go. Now, you could be able to do, I've seen players, especially in the Infernal versus Infernal match, just take an imp and break these trees and continue to creep your way around. And there we go. Speed camp's going to be taken. That's kind of that little indication. Ooh, we are going to see a little bit of a hedgehog play. So that's why we went for this nice little mech bay initially, and he's going to come out here and really start to be annoying. Look at this. Look how quickly he's going to start microing this guy around and start damaging down and trying to kill this Gaunt. And that first one is going to end. Oh, he gets kind of caught there by those fiends, and look at him zipping his way around. Will be able to kind of fall back here as he kind of runs away from these sped up fiends. Yeah, he will be able to kind of retreat out of there. Next little hedgehog coming out. So this used to be the kind of go-to opening for a lot of Vanguard players, especially in the early days of the alpha. And things have since shifted and changed a little bit, but it's a strategy that, like, if you are familiar with, you can see why players use it. Look how much faster these hedgehogs are compared to your opponent's units. All right, so good micro. You can sit there and dance circles around them, catch them off guard and out of position. But we will see kind of the continual creeping here. And in the meantime, he's taking a fast third base. This is something that I really like to do against Vanguard players, is try to get that early economic advantage, especially if they are kind of repositioning and changing their tactics and not being as aggressive. Like if they're sitting back and holding back, then I can be able to sit there and find my own advantages. All right, so we will see kind of immediately saying, hey, I'm going to pop all of these little hidden resource pockets here so I can be able to start building them up, increasing them, getting those numbers up much higher here. And a little push coming over on the left-hand side here. We'll see kind of this little Shroud Stone. He's just checking things out and just like trying to confirm where his opponent is and forcing his opponent to kind of be in a weird position maybe. But health camp is going to be taken. Pretty much you should be creeping up as an Infernal player and trying to get as many camps as possible. And there's the big heal up here. In the meantime, we will see kind of nice little micro vision camp, and you can see just like on both players' sides how big of that, how big and beneficial that vision camp does provide here. But we are going to start seeing the additional conclaves added in here, and there is the additional shrine getting down, so we can start sitting here and really powering up, increasing the number of imps that he has, as well as be able to start gathering up this resource. In the meantime, we're still on this kind of hedgehog shenanigans going on here. We're starting to see barracks added in, as well as additional med bays or mech bays, so he can really kind of go heavier on these hedgehogs and see just how fast they go. And there's the little repair bot coming out here, gonna heal that up. Of course, our sentry post changes based on what unit you throw in there. So when you throw a Bob in there, it does become a repair bot there. If you throw it in your Exo that we saw, it's got that flat cannon. And then, of course, you throw your Lancer, it's got that little chainsaw gun there. There's a little scout coming in, and look at this. He can just kind of immediately pounce on that, kill that Shroud Stone. Second one's going to get canceled. Oh, Imp was just kind of sitting there for a second. But again, oh, it tries to save it. And look at this, so quickly. He can just kind of do these little micros. And we see some fiends sneaking up from the top here to try to catch him, but not really able to do that. Now this is this dangerous spot, right? When you have the speed here, especially you kill off that vision and immediately get your opponent in the dark of like, okay, am I attacking from this angle? Am I going to attack from the left? You don't really know. I'm very fast. I can just kind of bully my way forward and through things. There's a nice little vision. Scout does, of course, get access to that and immediately starts targeting these down. Gaunts are so weak. They have a lot of damage, but they are glass cannon units and not really able to do much more than that. So he will start to kind of go forward and will start to take one out. There we go. Immediately a fiend pops up. We see a whole bunch of Shroud Stones trying to wall this off, protect this area. In the meantime, Mixu is opting for a third base down here in this pocket expansion here, opting for this compared to something else. Do we have, oh, okay, it's a fiend doing some scouting, making sure, confirming how many bases his opponent is on here. Where's the tech from this? Where's our Infernal player going to go? There it is. I was like, based on seeing so many Conclave units, it makes sense to go for the Doombringer drop here. And immediately pounces again. Shroud Stones are decent at giving us information, increasing how much Shroud is on the map, but they don't really do very much damage here. All right. I wish we had the ability to do the vision check and be able to sit there and show just how much information it is. But yeah, look at this. Oh, takes that guy out. Doombringer is trying to skirt and miss out on the vision camps, does end up seeing a unit starts transferring over here. So this is that confirmation. Oh, you've taken this as your third base. And now he's going to drop down, try to get some damage in. Here come the Hedgehogs, though, ready to kind of defend this location. And look at this. Oh, pops it into this nice little defensive mode here that allows him to start attacking air units and will be able to clean that guy up. And now it's kind of lets him creep a little bit more. Getting some more fiends out there. Little scout dog kind of trying to confirm what is happening. And this is this annoying part of having the ability to fly around here, right? You can sit here, zip around, keep distracting your opponent, and hedgehogs do catch all those fiends. But that's like, hey, now I know where your hedgehogs are. I'll get a couple more hits off, kill off a few more of your units. And actually a lot more of the units. Where are the hedgehogs? They're now trying to kind of reposition, but he's like in this spot of like, I want to be able to keep some on the right when you run away, but now I need to come over here and defend against this, and he's just going to get up and leave. And there he goes, swings over to the right. So this base has completely been destroyed. We see big defensive modes coming out here, ready to kind of defend against this as more of the Doombringers coming in. And there, he's going to be starting to try to target it down, but that's the downside. Once you go in this kind of anti-air mode, once they land, you go, well, I can't actually do any damage here. So they're like, they turn into essentially missile turrets for a brief period of time by doing this, which is really good, right? You see their kind of cannons aimed up at the sky, but you also need some that are on the ground to really help you out here. And yeah, we're going to start cleaning up some of these trees, really make this path a little bit easier to defend against. But now this is what Mixu really wants to do. He really wants to get out on the map and get some information here, get some scouting, find out what is going on. Are you taking an additional base? And he's going to get here and find it and get to destroy this. Nice little pounce using these hedgehogs here. And just, yeah, look how much damage that does. Good cancel there from Highdra, forcing these units to be able to reposition. We have weavers added into the mix here. These long stalking units here have a nice little get over here grab move that they can start pulling units towards them. They also have the ability to consume and eat little fiends that exist. So you're going a heavy conclave build, relying heavily on your gaunts and these very tanky weavers. They're big and powerful, but they don't deal as much damage, so you're going to have to rely on these gaunts. So you see the gaunts are going to be spending a lot of their time underneath of these units, protected by them. But this push is going to be hard to deal with. Yes, the hedgehogs do a lot of damage, but this is a very scary force because they have a lot of health here. Yeah, look at this. Very, very tanky. Very tanky. Very slow, though. 2 movement speed compared to 4 of the gaunts. So there's the vision, trying to get information about what's happening. Ah, the Atlas are coming in. Okay. So we're going in an awesome little conclave versus mech style of play. And, oh, Atlas goes into this mode. Look at this. How much damage that actually does. But we see the shield popping out on top of the Atlas. Weaver's going to start pulling in these high DPS units here. Vulcans are going to be really scary to deal with, as well as the Atlas. So we're going to have to kind of really pounce and prioritize those units over anything else. Nice little bring in the Doombringer in here. Oh, catches a couple of units. Hey, those are some free fiends in this. And this base is going to be forfeit here as the Weavers stalk their way forward here, moving their way in here. And, oh, the Doombringer does get taken out. That's pretty nice. Doesn't get any little drop harassment anymore here. And look at this. Vulcans get pulled forward, and they try to escape their way out of here. Vulcans have cool little bit of damage where they can kind of start dealing damage to units behind them. If you're thinking about Heroes of the Storm, it's kind of like Tychus's Q ability with his little like minigun that he's got there. So... and there we go, pulling more and more units forward. That's the power of this conclave push, of having all of these gaunts hidden underneath of these weavers, and you slowly just make your way forward here. And did he finish breaking the trees? No, he didn't. So all of these are going to get turned into fiends. We see shields popping up, trying to keep this base alive as long as possible. We see a few of these hedgehogs coming in to try to defend, but nope, GG is called. Mixu takes the series 2-0 in this with... Mixu GG's out, tying the series up 1-1. Ooh, that was a cool push. Cool push. I like the conclave push here. Let's update our score. It is tied up 1-1. We're going to be going on to Titan's Causeway as our map here. We don't get to see this one as often, so we'll kind of get in and talk about it. It is a very large map compared to some of the other ones, but let's get going and introduce our players here. So, spawning up in the north, winning our last game with our heavy concave play, tying things up, it is our red Infernal player, known as Highdra. And his opponent, sneaking his way over there, and his opponent, spawning down in the south, it is our blue Vanguard player, Mixu. Both players very, very skilled at this game, as we've seen. They've been playing for quite a while, been playing in that other tournaments as well, so it's really exciting to see them kind of battle it out in the first round here. So we've got a different map again we talked about. It is a very big map. This Iron Vault sneak over here is important to kind of really start getting out there and doing some creeping. The dog, of course, was able to visualize that and see that, but this is kind of a take advantage of it because look how large of a surface area and ramps there are for this. You do have your natural expansion, but again, we talked about how difficult it is to be able to get into a third base. This is one of those maps. Yes, there's one down here on the low ground. Yes, there's one way over here, but that's still, you know, even further away than our secluded grove third base is. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out. But the goal is to kind of easily take this expansion and go from here. We do have, of course, speed camps, the north and south of the kind of map. Gaunts are going to head that way initially. And there's the Brute going to come over there and help support and take that out. Vision camps are on the corners of the map to kind of help allow you to have vision there. There's our health camps as normal. So it's going to be interesting to see how these players prioritize expanding outward and around on this map here. And yeah, this is a little bit different going for this Iron Vault opening here because the Brute will allow him to kind of tank up and absorb hits a lot more, and it's a much safer way to kind of tank forward here. But we're seeing our own little creep going on here, and this is the nice little thing about going for these kind of little creep moves like this. You'll notice these players do it is there are locations that you go, okay, if I get some hits in and I start kiting back, these units will eventually turn around and run away. Like right there, right? So you're looking for that location, but this is quite a big creep push here. Gets the speed camp. We see a lot of brutes, and we're seeing Highdra going for a very heavy, very aggressive attack here. Mixu's going for a mech bay again, but look at this. He comes in, gets some information, goes, oh, you're not even taking a base yet, and catches one of those units. The Lancer immediately gets surrounded by all these fiends, and we see him turning, trying to attack here. Does he get the Lancer out? Oh my gosh, he pounces, almost gets the Hedgehog here. This is the scary part. He's trying to kite his way around. These units are fast, but we will be seeing him trying to infest it, trying to turn it into a fiend, and he does. Now we're in the mega micro stage here, and oh, this is why we're seeing a nice little forward sentry post here. He was trying to get himself in a position where he can defend this very well, and yes, he catches it and says, hey, come on over here. That's fine. I'll be able to heal these up and be in a good position. And a nice little dance in the center of the map, really putting a stop to this push here. So we see kind of the reposition. Let's speed these units up, get them ready to try to catch these units. And even with that, they're not going to be able to. So he goes for, I need fiends. Now, this is a very smart positioning and play, adjusting the play style of Highdra to respond to all of these units. And oh, look at the heal. That's huge. He will be able to keep this alive, just barely there, though. It does get taken out here. We see a Lancer get added into the mix. Again, the Gaunts are the problem in this, and we do see kind of him really targeting those down, focusing them down, and it is such a high-paced, high-intensity match to start things out in this game number 3 here. Behind all this, Highdra is taking a third base, so he's not all in by any means, but this is going to be a very hard position for Mixu to kind of reposition from. He's gone for this heavier tech units, investing a lot of resources into that with these Hedgehogs. They are very strong, very fast, but you can see he's only got a few and doesn't have a base positioned yet. He's kind of got himself locked in, ready to kind of watch this center area that exists here. But it is a very cool map because of so much high ground, low ground, different avenues and pathways to be able to attack forward. And we see the next big push. Hedgehog's seeing it and immediately starts stutter stepping, microing his way. He's trying his best not to get caught by all these fiends, because if he does, he knows he's going to lose that unit. And there you see a quick surround, will trap it in, and there he goes dancing, trying to get him, and he does get the surround off. And now the Fiends and the Gaunts are swinging their way over here. Where's the next Hedgehog? There he is. He's trying to micro his best, and he gets, does get over. But that means that all the Bobs are going to be forced to retreat and turn into Fiends, adding into the Infernal army here. And where is the rest of the forces here? Bob's coming out here, trying to kind of run the blocks. We see more and more Hedgehogs getting added into. There he goes, start to right-click down some of these Gaunts, and oh no, the Hedgehog does end up falling in all this, and now it's just Bobs versus Gaunts and Fiends, and GG is called. Highdra takes the series 2-0, showing the power of the Infernal army here. What a fast-paced, exciting series here. GG to Highdra. He moves on later in the tournament while Mixu falls and will be having to work his way up through the loser bracket here.